Welcome back to the Ferris Sports Update. We're joined now by senior forward from Ferris State men's basketball, Andrew Meacham. Andrew, thanks for joining me tonight.
No problem. It's good to be here.
Huge win in GLIAC play against a rival in Lake Superior State. You guys have seen them a lot the last couple of years. And it's a 21-point win to take over first place in GLIAC North. That had to be a good feeling for the guys.
Yeah, it was a really good feeling. Just to get first place in the North. That was a big goal of ours.
You guys went through a stretch there where earlier in the season you had guys out with injuries and other. It seems like now guys are healthy. Deshaun Thrower is transitioned out of football season into basketball season. It seems like physically and mentally. What's been the difference these last several games? It looks like you guys are hitting your stride.
Well, early in the season, we had a lot of new guys coming in because last year we had all the experience. Those guys are gone now. And, we had a little learning phase where we, try to, get into the groove. And then once we got Deshaun back, we really started rolling. And I think we're just clicking right now, playing good defense. Shots are falling. We're playing really well right now.
It is a lot of new guys, and I know that's something that pretty much everybody that's covered the team has brought up. But now, does it kind of feel just more comfortable now? It just seems like you guys are trying to carve out your own identity now that you're missing all those guys that were part of the national championship starting lineup.
Well, I feel like all the new guys kind of settled into their roles, and now we know what we want to do, our goals, and we're just moving ahead.
So we take a look back to the highlights from this past weekend. Again, a 21-point win over a really good Lake Superior State team. They've had some roster turnover as well. Some of their better players have graduated. But what makes this such a tough team to play against every time you see them?
They're really physical. Some might call them dirty, but I'm not going to say that. But yeah, it's always physical with them. And they always play hard against us. We've kind of been rivals the past 5 years. A little more than GV, and we just have to keep our intensity up and match theirs.
Seems like you're just getting contributions from everywhere. It's not just any one guy. Any guy seems like they can go off, and obviously when Deshaun throws it, no one's stopping him. But what is it like to know that on any given night it could be your number that gets called?
Our system. We play a lot of guys, and there's no one guy that we kind of go to. We like to share the ball, and if one guy's off, we know the other guy next to me, is going to step up and pick us up.
These games, these rivalry games against a team like this, I know, again, you've seen them a lot the last few years and in the postseason. Is it more fun to take on teams like this?
These rivalry games, they're always a little bit more fun. Beating these guys by 21 is a pretty good feeling.
And you look around, huge crowd, one of the bigger ones of this year, and obviously you've had some big crowds the last few years. And again, when you're a national champion, defending national champion, you're going to draw these big crowds, but how nice is it to be able to play in front of crowds like this with a little more regularity?
Coach likes, us to get pumped up, and, the crowd helps with that. When they're getting loud and getting intense, it picks us up, we're more energized, so it really helps.
15-point halftime lead here against Lake Superior State. Obviously, you win the game by 21, but what adjustments did you guys make going into the locker room and coming out after that first half?
Well, after the first half, we thought we did a really nice job. 15-point lead is pretty good. We came out gunning, and then towards the end of the half, we kind of, went back and forth a bit, started giving up some points. Our whole game plan was to, take away their shooters, and towards the end of the half we kind of didn't do that, and then we wanted to get back to that in the second half.
Take a look here at some of the individual efforts. Obviously the Lakers starting to try and claw their way back into this game, but it didn't seem like you guys gave them much ground, if anything.
Yeah, we always played 10 guys, so once we give our starters a break, our second group, we feel like there's not really that much of a drop-off. So, in teams, if they get dug into a hole, they can't really come back because our second group, is just as good.
Deshaun Thrower, come on. Yeah. This just isn't fair at this point. He put on just a highlight reel game, and, it is a team sport, but what does it mean to have a guy like that can just go off and just be unstoppable at times?
It's a good feeling, if we are struggling, if everyone's struggling with their shot, it's nice to know, you have a guy like that can create his own shot.
How hard does he defend in practice? I know he's a stockier kid and a stronger kid that plays football as well. Is it just real tough to keep up with him?
Yeah, well, I don't really guard him much because I'm a forward and he's a guard, but if I do somehow get switched on him, it's pretty tough.
So we take a look forward, obviously coming up, you've got a tough weekend on the road coming up. Saginaw Valley State first. I know early on in your career, they were kind of the GLIAC powers have switched a little bit, but still a tough place to play and a tough team to play against.
Yeah, they're another team in our league that's kind of physical too, just like Lake State. So, we're kind of focusing on that. And they're a really good rebounding team, so we got to make sure to box them out and out-rebound them.
This past weekend, you out-rebounded Lake Superior State 50-35. Pretty good rebounding margin. I know under Coach Bronkma, you guys have typically been a pretty good rebounding team. That's something you take a lot of pride in practice.
Yeah, we have a goal board, and we want to be first in rebounding, first in assists, a lot of other stats. But yeah, he really likes to focus on rebounding.
So you take a look forward again. Another one, you got Northwood coming up on Saturday on the road. What challenges does that team pose?
They're a young team, kind of an upstart. They started out really well in the league play, kind of falling off a bit, but, playing at their place, they always give us a tough time there. So, we can't overlook that.
I know obviously you don't want to look too far forward, but how exciting is it to have an ESPN3 game on the schedule in your own building for the first time in program history?
It's a really good feeling, and especially against Ashland because they beat us earlier this year. We kind of want to get them back.
Yeah, Ashland's a good program, and they're obviously highly nationally ranked, and you guys obviously had the buzzer beater win against them last year. What makes that team so particularly tough that's going to make this compelling TV here on ESPN3?
They're always disciplined, what they run. Their big men are always good, and they're just a tough team. Their coach is really good, and their players always play good D against us, so it'll be a tough game.
First place in the GLIAC North right now. I know we talked about that. That's really important going into the postseason. But for you, does it take on any meaning, or are you really just more focused on the task at hand right in front of you?
I don't really like to look ahead too much. I like to just take one game at a time. And so next is Saginaw, and then we'll take care of that, and then we'll move on to Northwood, and then we'll look ahead to Ashland.
Distinguished career here for you. You're a national champion. What are you planning to do in life after basketball?
I'm currently in pharmacy school here. I'm in my second year, so I will have 2 more years after this year, pharmacy school.
Certainly a tough program for you, and glad you're going to be one of our leaders of tomorrow. That'll do it here for the Ferris Sports Update. Reminder, you can tune in to FerrisStateBulldogs.com for ticket information, schedules, scores, highlights, and more, and follow us on social media as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week on the Ferris Sports Update.